Hey everybody, welcome back to the latest installment of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, Recruiting in Yoga Pants. I'm Amy, I'm wearing yoga pants, and I'm tired, y'all. So I have been thinking about this one a lot. Sometimes I go into these videos with an idea, with kind of an outline in my mind, what I want to talk about, what I think is important to cover. And this week, I don't have that. I have no idea what we're going to cover. I have some idea. I know what I want to talk about. I don't know if I can say it without saying bad words, and that's where I'm struggling. I've actually hit record like 7 times because I keep saying the F word. Probably not appropriate. I don't want you to see that side of me yet. All right, so here's the big idea. This pandemic, recession, weird economic health time that we're in, it's hard, y'all. It's I remember the 2009 recession quite well. Found myself unemployed, and yeah, it was a bad time. My kids were much smaller, so daycare was a concern. I was doing my best to launch a business and working my ass off in a commission-only environment, making no money because no one's hiring, and having little ones, like literally preschool age kids. And I know a lot of you are facing that now. And maybe it's not kids, maybe it's aging parents, maybe it's family members who are ill, maybe you're alone. Maybe that's worse. I don't know. I mean, everyone's situation is different, and it's not for me to compare and say who has it better than anyone else, because we're all suffering in our own ways, and in we're all dealing with stuff, right? And you're probably thinking, Amy, what does this have to do with recruiting? Turns out, quite a lot. Here's why. Things will change. Things will get back to normal. And maybe it's a new normal. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like on the backside of this. But I know that there's going to be recruiters. And I know that there's going to be job seekers. And I know that we're going to try to get back together. And how we treat each other now, and the grace that we offer each other, and the kindness, and the understanding, and the patience is critical in all of us surviving the next few weeks, few months, whatever that looks like. With that in mind, I want to give you a little insight into post-recession recruiting. This is going to pass. I believe that. I believe we will be fine. Might be a while. Might be a different kind of fine. We're going to be fine. And what is that going to look like? A recruiter on the back end of this should not be concerned with the gap on your resume. Some of you may be worried about that. If you're laid off, and even in the best of circumstances, you're laid off, you're gonna make it, you've got some savings, whatever your situation might be, you're less stressed about that, hopefully, and more stressed about what is this gonna look like when I go job searching, when I try to get the next role. Recruiters should not be focused on the gaps. We should be smart enough to understand that this is a worldwide thing unfolding. Many of our friends and colleagues are laid off. Many of the people we have placed have been displaced. This should not weigh on you. If it does, I want you to reach out to me. I want to talk to you. I want to give you some clear, you-focused guidance on that. Y'all know I've lived in tech for a long time. I may or may not be super helpful if you're an accountant or a forklift driver or a mechanic. But if you're stressed about this and you're just wondering what's a recruiter going to think, talk to me. Talk to my friends. I've got some links I'll put in the pinned comments that will hopefully be helpful. Give me a little time to pull those and I'll add them. But there are people that are here to help. There are recruiters who want to ease this transition for fellow recruiters as well as for our job seeking population. The last thing that I want to leave you with is getting through this situation, this recession, this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, this situation. There are no shortage of thought leaders. If you ever call me a thought leader, I'm going to think you're mad at me. Let's just say that. Let's get that out on the table. It is not a term of endearment in the Miller household. Okay, I may be being unfair to thought leaders, but I don't think I am. There are a lot of thought leaders who believe that the answer to getting through this is to get a new hobby, learn a new skill, start a new exercise routine. Because if you don't do these things, you didn't lack time, you lacked discipline. I want you to just marinate on that for a second and imagine the one finger salute that I have to that. I'm like so annoyed even just thinking about that. I want to be clear. I want to be clear because I don't want to be unfair to those that do respond that way. I know that for some of you, this is the time for a shift in behavior. This is the time to learn a new skill. This is the time to launch that app you've been dying to get onto the App Store. This is the time to get a Peloton and start working out. That's great. I hope you do. I hope you find solace in that. I hope you find I hope that works for you. I really do. I'm not suggesting that people who look around and say, oh, gee, I'm at home all the time. I've got some time. Let me invest it into something that is meaningful. I love that. What I don't love is the idea that those of us that are just trying to survive are somehow worse off for it, or somehow we lack something because we didn't go learn how to play the oboe. Do I lack time, or do I lack discipline? Or maybe right now I'm just trying to get through it. Maybe right now I'm working 12, 13, 14 hours a day to keep up with my all of a sudden very busy workflow, because we are actually hiring quite a lot. Plus the time that I'm spending volunteering, reviewing resumes and helping others, plus the time I'm spending making sure my high schoolers are catching up on their schoolwork, plus the time I'm spending with my husband who hasn't seen me very much in the last week. Maybe I'm just trying to get through it. Maybe I'm taking a second look at my finances just in case, God forbid, layoffs hit the Miller household. Maybe I'm taking time to, watch those online church services and really kind of get into some prayer and get into some, what am I doing with my life and how am I living? Maybe I'm taking some time to check on my mom who has cancer and who cannot be exposed to this. Maybe I'm taking some time dealing with some other real shit. If you're one of those people and you're like me and you're just hanging on by a thread and you're just trying to survive, I'm going to ask you to do you and me a favor, and let's give ourselves a little grace. This is going to pass. We're going to get back to work. It's going to look different. It's going to look different. I know that. We're going to have a new normal. I understand that. We will talk about that in future weeks if it's helpful for you. If you want to go into resume advice or how recruiters look at resumes, post layoffs, whatever. We could cover a million different topics here. If If those are things that you want to talk about, let's do it. Drop me a comment, send me an email. But for this week, let's just give ourselves a little grace. Let's be patient with ourselves. Let's be patient with others. Let's support the ones who have that ability, desire, energy to go learn to play the oboe or whatever it is. But if you're not that person, that's okay too. It really is. So I want you, if you're like me and most of the people I know, give yourself some grace. Be patient. You're not going to fix it all in a day. Hug your kids. Kiss your spouse. Call your mom or your dad or whoever. Tell somebody you love them and just get through the day. You're going to be all right. We'll see you next week.